What's up? Grand Rising. Ez from Tulum. Where? If you only knew. Look, I want to talk a little bit about the vortex, the clinic, the spa, what we have going on here in Tulum, and the opportunities that we have that many people overlook by virtue of the constructs and the framing that they have in their mind. Granted, Tulum is an expensive place, but we have many things here that you can gain access to, mainly by asking. Two, getting over this belief. A lot of folks come here and have the belief that everything should be for free. That's not how it works in the world. Yet there are many things that are free here. So you have the opportunity to indulge and engage in free services. And also, you have the opportunity to look and to see what things are available that are super unique and even possibly save to get in there, request and see if there are local discounts, and also identify what you really need for yourself. Tulum, aloha, my sister. Tulum, as you know, was a place of testing, but also rejuvenation. In this space, which is a vortex in and of itself, we have the opportunity to be tested, which happens, but also to learn. Have you guys ever heard the phrase, greater is he or she within me than it is in the world? Well, it's absolutely true in regards to what's animating you and your avatar. Yet and still, whatever's animating you and your avatar is also projecting a reality out to the world. But you are not all the things that you see, although it's connected to you. It is a projection, it's a secondary attribute of you. But sometimes we over-identify with that secondary attribute and we think of it as the thing. An example would be a wave in the ocean. And I get this from good brother Ken Wheeler. That's a receipt right there. Ken Wheeler has stated, and of course this is from maybe just regular physics, you have a thing, right, such as a wave in the ocean, but actually, and we think of it as a wave, as a solid thing, but what's going on here is you have energy moving through the medium of the air and the water molecules, and it is doing a thing called a wave. It's moving through, and what we observe and what we feel is a wave, right? So the movement of the energy through means that the ocean is waving, and we're riding the waving experience of the ocean. A wave ain't a thing. Look into it. And so this is what I can call a rapid reframe, but that's more aligned to the truth. So the truth is there's so much healing for you here, and also wherever you're at, because it starts here, and in this frame, but it originates from beyond the experience. So getting back to Leaf Spa, the Vortex of Vitality, I'll post maybe a testimony. But what I think of and what I used to think of in regards to stem cells, NAD, anything intravenous, anything that kind of enters into the body, right, is, okay, first of all, stem cell, you're stealing them from babies. You're utilizing these things that are coming from other people. And there are some folks who are working with materials, they're putting them into the human body. They're genetically altering folks. And this is a part of our reality. This goes on. There are also some folks who are utilizing undifferentiated cells. An undifferentiated cell means it hasn't taken on a personality. Think of it like that. It's at its raw element. And we can incorporate that into the frame, and that is now filling you up with life force. So we seek to do two things, what you hear nowadays. One group of people is we're trying to eat and do things that allow the body to generate more undifferentiated cells so that those cells can go and participate in the healing. Then you have folks who have been able to cultivate those cells and they apply them to the body. But that's it. That's not all there is, right? These are these two items, but there are many other ways to go about that process, because the intention is not to experiment with the body per se, but to bring more vitality, okay? We're in a vortex, and in a vortex you can do two things. You can lose all your energy, get worn out, get beat up, get washed around, right? Same in surfing. Or you can be re-energized. When the wave comes, you can breathe it in. You can move over it. You can connect. And so what we're seeking to do is help people to live beyond an old concept. The previous concept is I'm healthy, I'm okay, but is healthy enough? Sure. If you're unhealthy, healthy's everything. Now, living in a space of functioning is one thing. Another thing that that's more important, I think, really amazing to experience, is to have vitality. We come in with high vital force. Most of us. A baby, even if spoken by the Tao, can scream and his voice never gets hoarse, right? A baby child can have an erection, which, I'm not trying to sound funny, but this is an example of the vital force that is strong within a being. As a man gets older, and we notice, oh, this isn't working, we don't have the same strength for certain things, our testosterone declines, etc., we are losing vital force, and that changes the quality of life. But what we're finding is that there are many different ways, through meditation, through other practices, such as Qigong, through breathing practices, and then also the foods that we eat or don't eat. Okay, we can then begin, as well as exercise and straining the body, we have opportunities to increase the vital force. Astrolight, I know you know about this. Once you begin to increase that vital force, your experience, the dimensions that you begin to experience and perceive, shift. You're living a different life. And so, what kind of gas are you putting in the engine? Low grade, high lead, or high octane? Okay? On top of that, when we talk about ingesting, and we've had this talk, my brother, what are you looking at? Right now, we're in a time where we're being told to look that way while people are doing something over there, and many folks are in a tailspin. But this is nothing new. This has happened many times. And there are always going to be people who don't really get distracted by that thing that they're pointing to, and they're like looking at what's going on this side, and they're concerned with, okay, what do we do in the meantime? Right? Because all of it must exist. So the thing that I'm choosing to do is focus on, and I'll take some time after I run through all my different topics that I want to put on Instagram, and I just want to share wisdom that I've cultivated through experience, and I want to invite people to have experience of refreshing, rejuvenating, and then becoming more vital, because we need the strength to be able to witness. There are things that are seeking to detract from your overall accretion, meaning it's like you're putting money in the bank, but let's not use the bank. You're gaining more funds, and you're coming into this new space of strength, of form, of structure, right? You're building, and you can also at the same time do things that take away from your gains. And there are still things in life that are going to come your way that want to sip a little bit here, sip a little bit there. And so we find this in all spaces. All spaces. Even the jungle. You put something down, it's devoured, right? So it doesn't need to be good or bad, but we are a consciousness, and if we have a stated goal, an intention, we're choosing and we're deciding to go somewhere and do something, then we need fuel to get to the end destination, which may be a never-ending journey, okay? So I think with the clinic, I'm also program director, I'd like to get some workshops going to get the opportunity to educate people as to the services that we have. When we say NAD, what are we talking about? When we're talking exosomes, and, I have a little bit of a list of things, or like, what else do we have? Peptide, experiences there, as well as being able to get a massage therapy, as well as energy healing, as well as being able to get into the water, which is that vortex that we have there, right? It's a water temple as well. It's a very unique space. And Tulum is a very unique space. And the space that you're at is also, yes, we also have the collagen treatments, is a unique place as well. So really being able to tap into the uniqueness, which we talk about this too, of where you're at, and or set a destination based on where you're at. If your environment is not being beneficial to you, or you can't recontextualize the environment to learn the lessons and make it beneficial, maybe it's just too much, it's nice to get away and go to a place where you can be in a bit of an incubator, where you're protected in a container, you come in and you're rejuvenated. And you guys watch Dragon Ball Z? Remember the hyper chamber? I'm not going to stick too long on that, but I believe Tulum to be a hyper chamber. I'm witnessing many masters come in, but also everywhere I go seems to be a hyper chamber, whether I'm in New York, Chicago, Florida, damn right Florida, a swampy hyper chamber from head to toe, Texas, everywhere in between. I took it some time and drove across the states. Got 4 trips. It's not that many, but it's enough. The presence of mind that I had to look around and say, wow, okay, we're going through some interesting things as dispersed consciousness within this dimension to learn. So what is it that you can learn? What does the learning look like? Circling back to what we ingest, Well, you ingest the things that you look at, right? Things can come out of the mouth, for sure, but they can also go in. Things go into the nose. We receive from sight, and we can also project. So, but a lot of what I see happening is that we're being bombarded with things before we get the opportunity to sit, to reflect on what we are taking in, how to stop it. Like for me, after a certain time at night, I unplug. I've lived many spaces where I was right under the power lines. Wow, it feels so different in my body to not be so close to the power lines, yet I have electricity, okay? The other thing is to be able to actually turn off the Wi-Fi. Not to have the Wi-Fi shut off when you need it, because that can happen so often too, but to actually unplug it and feel in my body what it feels like to sleep and rest in a place where all I'm hearing is animals, maybe the neighbor's fan is fine, and let my thoughts surface. And wow, all right, this is real silence, even in energetic silence at a distance. And so how do you add to the vitality? The rest that I got last night, the dreams that I had were, dreams of lessons and also reflection and integration, whereas sometimes when I'm in these other spaces, I can't even dream, Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but this has been my experience. So I want to invite those of you to pay attention to what I'll be presenting next, because I'm going to create some workshops to give an insight to almost all of the different therapies, and I can run down some of them. Some of them like, oh, do you need, you need a workshop on exfoliation? Not per se, but how this is being done within the Vortex Clinic, that's different. Massages, okay, how do these things come together to really help to rejuvenate your body? What are some practices that you would do after receiving a massage, after energy work, so that you're not doing that? Some people just do the thing and they don't do the things after or think about before, but we're in a continuum. So prior to a massage, it would be nice to have enough time and space to think about what's going to happen, where your body's going to be touched, to actually rest if you can before the massage so that you can be present to the things that are occurring as your body's being manipulated. Okay, same for Ralphing or working with the fascia. Same for any treatment. If you come into a treatment and you bring deep awareness because you're planning to receive the treatment before, you can really supercharge and amplify the effects of what's going on because you're receiving that much more. And that's a way of learning, right? A way of interacting. Same thing with conversations with people. Before you plan to have a conversation with someone, you can contemplate. I thought about a little bit now what I was going to share this morning because I have other areas to run and to go take care of things. But in that, I come in with intention. And then, you can allow some things to flow. It's nice to see who showed up on the live. So same thing, okay? Then afterwards, after this, I have plans. I'm thinking about the next moves that I'm going to make. After you receive a therapy, what are the moves that you're going to make sure that the seed is firmly implanted in the ground of the action that you just took? That sounds poetical. What are you going to do to not undo what you just did? Because you paid money, you used time, you had intention to get that massage, to have that energy work, to go and learn something, to receive, to release. So are you going to put yourself in an environment that's going to rapidly undo? Are you going to go ahead and do you know what to do with your body next? Are you going to go take a dip somewhere? Are you going to pour things and chemicals over your frame when you should be releasing? Where you're just beginning, the release. It's not, you got this massage, it's over. Now your body has to process what just happened. Sure, you want to take in some water. Maybe there's things you don't want to eat. So the workshops are going to be geared at a more holistic journey through not just the services that we have, because we have services that many people have, except we're unique to Tulum. But being able to really amplify and to really make good, to get a return on investment that is amplified from the intention that you had to take care of yourself and from the time that you're taking. Also, some of these services, people hear Vitality Clinic, we automatically thinking, oh, this is going to cost so much. The prices that we have are actually quite reasonable, and I think they're things worth people saving up. I know. And also, there will be crowds of people who come from other countries to come experience this because they know the value, they can see the cost effectiveness, they're also, getting to experience more of a freedom. In some countries, people don't have access. They have funds, they have currency, they have the freedom, but they don't have the access based on the bureaucracy in their countries. So what I see, once again, based on what's going on in the world right now, is that we're probably going to have a lot of people coming to Tulum. So if you feel the urge and the desire to come out here, if you have questions about this, reach out. Okay, it won't just be me answering the questions. I'm just at the front. I'm guiding, masterminding, helping on the business side, the business development. And it's fun for me because the development is really a development of relationship. It's a development of creating more healing space, accessing and elevating community. Okay? That's what it is about. The community could be one person, one individual. It could be a bunch of businesses where we have individuals together, women, men. You get it? Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm sharing? So if you have, some questions, and more so, if you're navigating things in your body, chronic pain, I think it's a good opportunity to pause and to look at what's going on within your frame. And also, as you look at what's going on in your frame, look around you and see ask the question to spirit, and then ask the question to the people around you that you feel are reasonable and also living a more vitality-filled life. What are you doing for yourself? How can I also elevate my experience of life to have more fulfillment, to have more mobility and strength, to actually challenge this thing that we call aging? Of course we're going to age. It's a natural part of being here. But how we age, the strength that we have in the process, doesn't have to be what we've been told. You can create something new for yourself. And all of the assets are here. And it might just take a rapid or even slow but consistent and dedicated reframing of your thought process to allow for you to receive what's been waiting for you the whole time. Think The Alchemist. You hear it? So please, if you get a chance, if you're just coming on, thank you. Astral Light, thank you, brother. Good to see you after so long. He says, I'm counting for 9. Do it, brother. All about the 9s. This is Az, here from Tulum, here in the beautiful jungle, and also grateful to take this time to encourage you all to identify the ways that you can rejuvenate yourself. And also to challenge the thoughts that you have in your head that may be restricting you, which means you may have to go outside yourself to have a proper reflection. Well, we're so fortunate that we have other reflections of ourselves to create these catalysts of thought and to trigger us, to make us aware of the quote-unquote traumas that we're navigating with, and to also offer opportunities. The wisdom is here, and the assets. When I say assets, I mean actual physical, tangible things to kickstart some of the intangible things, because they roll together. You have the seen and the unseen. So something, maybe in its potential form, which means it hasn't dissipated its energy, and then there may be examples that you can take hold of that are connected to them that are in a physical form. And you can use the law of correspondence. So these things we're going to talk about in the workshops, but it'll be like metaphysical workshop, okay, but how that relates to you. And then it'll also be like a workshop strictly on the thing, the therapy. What is this good for? How can you use it? And then I think as a part of the workshop, then I'll create some discounts for those of you who want to experience it. Because nothing's unavailable. I think people stop asking too quickly. I feel like folks ask for a thing one direction. If they get the no there and they get the no there, they forget that there's all these different directions because we're isotropic like the sun, so to say. So we exist in many different directions. So if you're really serious about something, continue to ask. You don't have to bug the same person. You don't have to beat down You don't have to beat down one door, because that's crazy, right? If there's a no once, there's a no twice at that same door, maybe it's not the one. On the flip side, we know the story of Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool movie. Maybe it is. It's up to you to discern. But just don't forget that there's other avenues for gifts that come your way. And so sometimes we close off the many different avenues with love, with life, with communication, with brotherhood, with sisterhood, parenthood, with relationships, right? Sometimes people force a relationship for so long when all the signs are there. So it's nice to be able to let go so that you can receive. Check out the clinic. Check out the center, okay? The vortex, vitality. the vortex of vitality center. The center. It's where it all happens anyways, right? The hub of the wheel. Okay. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to take a sip of my cafe and my She Legit. I'll hold the space. Gabriel, I really appreciate the conversation that we had last night. Hope you're feeling good from it. We'll do more. Let me know what's good with you, brother. I'm excited for our gathering tomorrow. If you guys get a chance, check out the live that I did with my dear brother Gabriel. We were speaking about honoring your exes and maybe some of the things that I didn't speak about. Of course, I'm speaking to these things from my perspective, getting to hear the perspective of those who come on these lives with me. But there's always more. Honoring an ex can also be literally speaking to them, thanking them, closing out a chapter. But it doesn't have to be all the time. You might have been in a relationship where the dynamic was extremely toxic. So another way to honor them, which we did speak to, but let me make it more clear, you can honor an ex by taking the time to contemplate their presence within your life, taking the time to become healthy, and allow yourself the space to reframe that relationship. Going out and getting help, or meeting with someone else who you respect, who's also had the opportunity to observe, and identifying what was the real nature of the dynamic of that relationship. Okay, what was the nature of that sacred contract? And I know in the spiritual community we talk a lot about transactional things, but there's a lot of distortion even in our ability to be coherent and congruent. But we have that as a roadmap, okay? Let's think about this. Okay, we exist in another space. We make these contracts to come into this space and to have this experience. And people say, okay, I'm gonna play this role in your life. I'm gonna hold the space for this, so you can come into this knowing, so you can learn this lesson. And it's really beautiful. What's up, Anthony? My man. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. I'm putting the things together for that online retreat, which is gonna be lit and deep. And so you have these experiences, but if we call it a sacred contract, what do you guys know about contracts? Any contract? Contracts are transactional. Contracts have expectations, agreements, terms, behaviors, results that we expect, and then if those results don't occur, we have alternate unfoldments as a part of that. So if the whole journey is a sacred contracts journey, that means that despite what we talk about in our spiritual communities and many other communities, then the whole thing is a transactional interaction of relating with the goal of learning something. And then we can have many goals, smaller goals that we experience. So as we begin to awaken more, we can see this. And it doesn't have to be good or bad. So I want to take some time to recontextualize, or at least get aligned with how we're looking at relationships. Indeed, how do we look at the responsibilities that we have? How do we look at the people that we've chosen to navigate with as a reflection of what we're choosing to be within ourselves? And then reframe in alignment with what is truly in alignment with who we really are at a depth, and to also decide not to do things that are bringing you closer to what you're not. We're everything, but we're little pieces of everything, right? So what piece are we? In some groups they would say, how do you stay on my square? Okay, how do I know my role? You define your role, but let's become more aware of all the ways that we're defining the role so that we can stroll in that role to be deep in alignment. Cheers, brother. So I appreciate you guys joining. 9:33, I think that's like a 15-minute live. I might pop in a little bit later. I have 60 topics to cover in 30 days. So if I do 2 a day, or I can do 3 a day at 10 minutes, that's cool, and you'll have all this data. So for those of you who aren't able to connect with me in the retreat space, come on guys, consider this. You're not down and out. The time will come. If it's something you want to do, you save. You put away budget and then show up. Why would you want to do this? Look at the many posts that I've made, and many of them aren't just me buffooning around, but I'm actually trying to share some wisdom that will benefit you. So I'm going to put out the value I'm going to put out valuable truth and wisdom, and of course, like my insights from a journey of experience. And I'm also going to continue to revisit these things and come up and share the newest understandings that I have. And guarantee, if you listen with an open heart, if you reflect on what resonates within you, then you will be able to take some wisdom, and then it's up to you to apply it. And the door is open. If you want to work with me, you can even reach out and we can go deeper. So this is my gift, because I know that you must deposit first. But also, that's what I'm here to do. And I have too much flowing through this to just leave it and not do anything with it. Love it, brother. Big time, as you said, alignment. I was writing it. Haha. You dig? Great. Alignment is important. You accessing the wisdom that you have is important. You accessing the medicine. I was thinking last night, over the past couple of days, I've been debating if I want to continue to serve medicine, plant medicines, because now I work in a space where I can basically help people to experience rejuvenation and have a long-term thing that we can do anywhere, so there's no issue. But actually, as I wake up today more rested, I think I'm just going to be a vessel to do what's needed at the time. I'm not pushing people at this point saying, hey, you should, engage in psychedelics, you should engage in anything that's an intoxicant. But yet, many of what we do anyways is an intoxicant. We don't even understand the foods that we're eating. We don't, not everyone's had a read of the book Nutricide, or because this is also a projection. So I think I'm going to have to do case by case, and I need to be in more of a space of connection. And then what I offer that's different, I guess, is, and it's always been the same, it's holistic experience. So it's really digging in and identifying what you may need this external thing for and what you don't need it for. And then being able to have the experience. I hold the space because I'm great at holding the space, because it's one of my natural, incarnation skill sets. And because I'm thinking already before we entered the space, what's coming for you afterwards. Base, how are you? So we have Tatayo, my medicine papa. I was thinking about actually stepping away from many of the things with psychedelics. Hugh, how are you? But my intention for this is really looking at the world right now. I know that we have beautiful medicines with the bufo, with iboga, and what I'm seeing is people definitely abusing those things, whereas for me, I really wanted to go into deep moments of prayer before even serving, and also identifying where's a person at beforehand, and really trying to craft something for them afterwards that's in alignment. So everyone that I've ever served still has access to me to sit and to talk about what's come up. When I sat with you in the space, the one thing I remember was you speaking to okay, it's going to take 2 years to process. And so I kept that in mind, and it's taken more than 2 years. I'm still processing things for my first journey, right? But I'm also looking at the different, I say distortions within these medicine communities, within all of us, myself included, that have not been beneficial for the people. And it still boils down to our character. What are we seeking to work on with our character? What energy can we put towards it? What vices? The vices, right? The 7 deadly sins, maybe we've heard of these. Well, in my ceremony, what was spoken to me that I didn't share with everyone when I was in Gabon was, the medicine was telling me, Ezria, Ngadi, what's important is for you to look at character. Because if your character is eroded in any area, then things are going to unfold for you in a negative way. And so it made me scared, actually, to work with these things, than for me to take my time. And also, what people tell you that you need to do for your character may not actually be the truth of what it is to be in alignment. So I've been willing to really hold my square, to not be pressed, to tap in and to listen, and then make the decisions that are truly in alignment. And also, if there's a consequence, I accept the consequence. And it's not what I thought it would be. The things that have happened to people I've been able to observe from afar, but my gift before even opening up my psychic abilities was already there. I was already open. So when I sat in ceremony in Gabon, I saw more things than I could speak to, and it was a bit much. One of the things that I appreciate that I forgot was, you remember how I love you so much. You have no idea. I do look forward to connecting and, getting to speak to some of the corruptions that we see. And also, I really appreciate like all the lessons that came through in that time, and it's very humbling. And so I'm really, there's many people who've reached out to me to sit with the medicine, and my thing was to just work with people with addiction and really severe problems, servicemen, so not for people to just have some experience, because I think it's better for them to go and sit with the whole village of people and have some really masterful teachers. But I can take a person through an experience, and it's always being guided at that time. The medicine will speak to me beforehand and say, hey, are you going to keep drinking? Okay, I cut out the alcohol. Hey, are you going to be in this relationship? It was my journey with the boga, but also me tapping in, that has taken me out of many misaligned relationships, because there's always a choice to make. And then there's always that ethos of forward, always forward. If I turn around, I got to turn all the way around. I didn't forget these things. So it's interesting to end up here and to be on the tail end of a long journey and get the opportunity to do right by all the people that have, had input. And I will not pass away without getting to repay, as I'm guided to repay, based on, those, I wouldn't even call them debts, but, there's a gratitude that I'm really working hard to get into a space, and there's many things that one has to clear, many ways that a person's energy can be siphoned. But once you reclaim that energy, then, and you navigate with the karmic debts, so to say, you pay those things off, I think one gains a lot more energy to see in clarity, and then it's a matter of will. So I really focus on cultivating physical strength, endurance, but then translating that to mental, emotional, spiritual strength and endurance. And the key factor for me has been identifying devotion, identifying my golden thread, really having conversation and recognizing that even though we may journey with these medicines, well, the medicines are consciousnesses, and we're connecting with their consciousness in this dimension, but they don't look like what we think they look like, because you could be looking at my finger, right? And all you see is the front of my finger or a dot, but you may not have the perspective of my hand looking like this and the whole body attached to it. So with the medicines, they're consciousnesses, and they have their own personalities, as we know, and there are ways to approach them. And they're also growing, so they may want to be approached in different ways. They may want different stewards that don't have to look like me to steward the medicine, as we know. And so the journey of harmony, and also being cautious and not letting folks come and essentially just talk shit, based on projections, stop me from doing what I'm called to do, but then to have an intention and really follow along in that intention. And what I've learned is, we have many different tools that we can use that are presenting themselves to us, hence why I'm talking about the Vortex Clinic, because now that can also augment a person's journey, but really it's reflecting, being given and taking the time. That's the wealth, right? To be able to reflect and to learn the lesson and to build your character, because this is what we know we'll take with us. Even if someone had a short life, things happen on the journey. To be able to reflect in this time and then take it however it looks, because when we pass away, we look at life differently. If we've had near-death experience, I've had quite a few, even since the journey in Gabon, and I've gone into some purposefully. Well, in those experiences, wow, the way that I got to see the things that happened to me before that led up to that moment were not what I expected, because you release a lot of the illusion and the Maya, and then to have the gift to be able to come back and to work from that space, or to remember that you came in like that off the bat, and to safeguard and to create spaces where right now I'm working with husbands, fathers, families who are getting ready to have babies, to provide support. Why? Because I'm free. I'm not in a relationship. But I am in many relationships, right? Because we're all relating to each other. And so it's a gift to be in that level of dedication. And soon I'll take a break from Instagram. So I'm going to load you guys up, front load with info. And I'm going to take time from my learning, from my journey, to receive, to connect with teachers who are waiting for me to be ready to be taught and to learn. And then I'll share. I'll process and I'll share, as I've been doing over the years. So, base to all of you. Thank you. I'm grateful to steward all the talents and gifts that I get to work on. I look at it as a kuleana, right? It's responsibility that is an honor. And so I'm open to the test of life. I'm open to the things that are coming in all of our directions. I'm here and I'm in dedication. And I just want you guys to remember as you catch this, these things are going on. They're here for your learning. Life is for you. It's for your cultivation. It's for the cultivation of your eternal character. The character is not necessarily to be associated and hung up on one version of an avatar, because you've many expressions of self, but it goes with and allows the divine aspect of who you are to learn about itself in the many different scenarios and situations, especially in a matrix. Matrix is not the enemy. There are people who understand the matrix better and who are choosing to manipulate the consciousness that are in there, but fully knowing the hazards of my chosen profession, which is to be incarnated. I fully accept the responsibility of what it is to be here, and I'm open to the learning and then to pay it forward. Is that cool? Yeah. Is there anything that you guys would like to share before I go? With one another, with myself, anything that, you've been listening, but like I'm also open to listen. Believe me, I'm going to go through all these topics, and then I'm going to go into a quiet mode. It would be fair. It's right for me I can be very quiet, believe it or not. And I'll come out a little bit less verbose and more pointed, because I know that's what's coming next. So, and it doesn't mean that I don't love y'all and I'm not here to work for it, but I'll conserve my energy and be more economic, and it'll be more potent. Astrolight is true. And there's several books not only could be written, but have been written on the topics. I have like 4 books in the chamber that maybe I'll take the time to write about, but also, what are people reading nowadays? There's so much information coming, so I'm really thinking to try to just distill these chapters and make it something light. Like this, look, it's right here, it's a book, right? All this I need to convert. Book I've written, but it's in paper. Now I'm going through the process of working with these. This, another book. It's a journal, but it's a book that I've written already. Let's see here. I have 4 more. I have, there's more. And so there's another one, right? Building of the body of Ngati, in truth, but I'm not going to write that on the title, because I don't want y'all to, so many people taking the name, playing around with it. Okay, so I'm opening my channel to receive, and I'm gonna put the time in to make it accessible. But also, sometimes things are written and they're not used much later. Here's one of my favorite books. Favorite author, P.D. Uspensky, right? Okay, and this book is called In Search of the Miraculous. Wow, now that's a deep book. Of course, to be able to read it, there's some books that are out there that you have to break your brain open to be able to receive the wisdom, which means you would read it over and over again. Now, I was at once upon a time a Torah scholar in my own mind, where I have the tenacity to go over and over and over a thing, because I know like every time I look at it, I take something new. So this would be my 3rd pass-through of this book since last year. And, take the time, even if you just choose one book, to try to put those things into play. We're in a time right now where we're being bombarded with so many things, and time seems to be going much faster, and there's a pressure on us to apply everything that we're looking at. It's not natural. Take a little piece here and then really put the work into it. To write a book is magic, absolutely, and it's a great gift. And, as I've been told, there are many books on many things. So the main book that we're all getting to write is on the tablets of our hearts. We're getting the opportunity to really, the first book that I write on. Nana, how are you? I hope you can go back and watch this. I want to try to keep them shorter so that people can go back and not feel like they're losing too much time, because there's the pressure on folks. I'm writing many books. I have books that are written already that just need to be transcribed, but I want to do it myself, right? Okay, there's 2 already done. And really within those 2 books are 2 books within themselves, and I have another 4. So I guess it's 6 books, right? Favorite. Some books that you may look at are put together and the wording may be so difficult, but if you can crack through that, okay, and enable yourself to receive the wisdom of those books, you might gain so much. An example, I would say, is the Tao Te Ching. An example of another book that I love, besides the Tao Te Ching, and smaller books, right? The book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs. I love, some Psalms, not all of them. There's a lot of Psalms, right? Really 150. I've done a reading of the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. I'm not Bible banging. There's esoteric wisdom there. And so for those who can hear certain things, all you need to do is just glance over it and ask yourself, what am I receiving from this? And there's the magic. And then you can compare what you're receiving and see, is what you're receiving benefiting your life and your journey? If it's not benefiting you, if it hasn't led you along the lines of a good path, you can stop. You have your choice and agency. Then you can apply that. So the main book, my brother, Astrolight, that I'm interested in writing upon is the book of Ezriah, the book of Ngadi, right? Many chapters that I get to explore within myself, and also it's the real-time chapters that I'm more interested in now. I have old chapters that I can share and I can draw wisdom from with the intention of helping other people, not in getting stuck in old stories that have already changed. Your memories change as well, right? So if I want to go quantum, so to say, then yeah, I'll go back and I'll visit some memories and I can edit and shift some things, not to make myself bigger, but to free myself. Okay, and I know how to do that. I can do a theta meditation, induction, whatnot. I've been doing that since I was in Bali. These things come natural to me. I don't even talk about them. I've been more geared at running towards the things that don't come natural to me. So now I'm like, okay, let me get a break. I'm gonna go back now and allow myself this rest period and bone up on the things that have come natural, or the things that I've created the propensity to navigate in, and then generate some works for myself because I enjoy it, and share them with people so they can enjoy it. It's funny, I started this live off with talking about the topic of rapid reframing, dipping into the spa that we have, Leaf Spa, which is also called Vortex Vitality Clinic, why people should, despite their fears, about a certain subject, don't have a fear about a certain subject and not dig into it. And ask yourself, well, okay, if this thing seems untouchable, unattainable, yet I have a desire to know about it, and I'm feeling like I'm stuck, what is the option? Ask the universe. What's the option for me to have this experience? Is this an experience that I even need? Why am I so fixated on it? All right, and a lot of times, life will take you into the clarity on the subject. So we have a spa. Spa has day passes. People can come into the spa and ask questions. I'm going to begin to do, not just for marketing and networking, I'm going to do workshops. I'm going to have other experts come in and share about the things that we have here. Why? Because this is a clinic that can help people. We can even call it a center. It's a water temple, and water temples rejuvenate people. These are fountains of youth, and it's been augmented. It's more like a meta temple, in that, not just a meta in the mind temple, but a metaphysical temple, in that we can use, and we're using these various principles to create an amplification chamber for people to come and to receive and to be rejuvenated to a high degree. When we get the infrared sauna, that's another thing. We have photo biomodulation devices, right? What that means, we're just able to pulse things to activate different energies within the structure of some of the offerings that we have that will serve to supercharge you. The exosomes and the therapies, as well as, what do we have? These are regenerative treatments. We have IV therapies, right? Why? You can ingest things, but you can also go straight. If you don't want to put anything in your arm, that's fine. We have other avenues for the body to receive. And so it's not just one thing, even though you may be hearing about one thing. We have beautification techniques that help to rejuvenate the body, where we can work locally or with a big enough, application. We can apply something in a local area, and then it can create a systemic change. And I'm going to start to offer some of my own therapies at the spa and off the spa, because now, also you get to see my space if you're still on. I'm in a new space. Still a Rose cuz. Wow, long time. How are you? How's the family? How's your mom's? Please shoot me a private message when you get a chance. I'm also looking forward to, once I'm, more set up here, going back, visiting Florida, visiting the States, and being able to do things with my family. I miss you guys. I haven't forgot about you. I'm just on my journey right now, my path. Long journey. Same for all of us. So, all right, as we are, in typical Haitian ways, how we'd be like, hey man, okay, all right, male now, I'm going. And then we come back. But a couple more things. But I'm going to go now. All right, I haven't left. You haven't left? Let's keep talking. Because really, I want to share. And I want to be in this space. Karina, Aloha, I hope your event went nice last night. I just saw this and I, wasn't able to make it. But I'm trusting that you guys are sharing the magic. It's really lovely, again, to be in that space with you, Kike, and do the baby ceremony. My friend who's on right now, we were invited to kind of facilitate a baby blessing ceremony. So where I feel honored in Tulum is that I'm getting to really give of myself and to share spaces of proper healing and respect and reverence. And I'm being invited into, as are you, spaces of really creating a nice energetic for the people, the masters who are to come through. Me working with the fathers is in dedication to, yes, the women, but also the new masters that are coming through. Because we think to ourselves at times, man, if only my parents had, if they only had this kind of support. If only, well, I'm not about that if only shit. I'm really like, okay, wow, would have been nice to have, different guidance. Would have been nice if my dad had some different men that he could go to when he was coming up. Be that different man. This is what it means to proceed, to be the arrow. I read a verse from the prophet where it speaks to children being the parents or the bow. They shoot the arrow of the child into the universe, and so now they're the spearhead, so to say, creating the new reality unfoldment. He didn't say it like that, but of course I'm speaking for myself, and it's absolutely aligned with what he's talking about. So now, me as a child of my last generations, I have a responsibility, which I'll call the kuleana, to shift things and to do as much of it as possible, which means I'm willing to release as many illusions to create, I guess, a new unfoldment. And that's my charge until I pass away, until I transition. And it won't be passing away, I'll transition. No matter what happens to me, when as quote unquote dies, know this right now. I know that I will have fulfilled my destiny and my time here. So my only request would be to celebrate and to contemplate the life and the breadcrumbs that I left behind. Even if it comes as a surprise to me, do not trip. Yeah, feel your things, project what you may feel about your own feelings about death, but know that I'm going into it happy. No matter how it happens, it has to happen. Hopefully it's nothing too heinous. I don't think so. I think I'll be an old man and I'll just disappear when the time's right. But even if I go in this young age, trust me, I'm an old man already. I'm an old man, but in a young vessel. And so I'm grateful to have this vessel. I'm gonna learn how to rock this hot rod and treat it well, and do the same with you. You guys have been coming to the clinic. Look at the other options. Check out the service menu. Even though it's small, we'll have a nicer one that's more appealing to the eyes, because there's other things that can help augment the experience of the water circuit. And there's some other goodies, because I've been to some very high-end, spas, and so I am aware of the different experiences, and I'm excited to start to shift the aesthetic of the clinic and to actually be what we say we are, right? Which is, it is a boutique clinic. It's located in the heartbeat of La Valletta at Central Park. Of course, there will be more of them, but for right now, the intention is to beautify the space, to honor it as a temple, to provide energetic activations from the moment you step in, and you sit and you relax. You move from the spa area to the clinic. You can come right back to the spa space. And so the real circuit in that vortex is to bring you more youth. And so there are things that are going to change with me being a part of it. Even if I go off into something else, it's okay. I will have definitely the space has been activated, and I've got 6 to 7 more activations. We'll do some water therapies there. We'll do some workshops there or off-site, and then part of the workshops will be then to experience the therapies. Maybe I'll do some online work as well, and so there's the opportunity. While keeping in mind it's a business, so the constraints aren't actually constraints to me. They're just opportunities to do things in a different way. And I think, I'm gonna offer some shit y'all ain't even experienced before, but of course you have. I think I'm gonna offer some interesting things within the sauna and the infrared heat. Well, We don't have that yet. Things are coming. I'll leave it at that. Okay? Thank you for tuning in. Should I save this one? I'll save it. Simple title, Rapid Reframe, Vortex Clinic. What do we have? Look into it. Look at the prices. Identify what's most beneficial to you, if anything. Budget. There's nothing that you can't have in this life. It's just about budgeting, and we know this. If it's not the time, don't get it. But to do things when it is the time, to invest in yourself, to know, to experience, to experiment with that, and then to receive is always a beautiful experience and lesson. And so what if most all of the things that you choose to do with your time, your money, with the people that you're surrounded by, are things that increase your ability to experience the love that you are, to connect with the love that they are, to learn lessons that you'll take with you throughout eternity, so to say, even as you shed this frame. Wow, it's pretty epic. Like we're on a nice journey together. I'm gonna take a breath. Stacy. Get ready to close out. Stacy, I hope that you can take the opportunity and just in the background and listen to some of what I'm sharing. I'm sharing about the clinic that I'm working with, the medicine journeys as well, and being able to what you look at before, during, after, in terms of who you have facilitating. You're not all facilitators have the capacity to do the long-term work. I'm not tripping, but I have the capacity to do that. So I'm just speaking to what I offer. And then also the things, you're all set up as well. I already spoke with the people at Radio Tulum. So when you're ready to do that concert, you want to do something with Brother Stick, Andre, we have a space, we have a hub that you just let me know, and we'll make the time and we can create that concert experience. We can create a really nice experience. And if you want to, my dear, we can have what we talked about so long ago before that first retreat that you did, where we can bring certain folks here who really need to have another experience, who have had that experience within the industry and also need a space of non-judgment and quiet, okay? That don't have to be all the way out in CNCon, although we can do CNCon. Now I have 2 spaces here that are high level, right? And we know what that looks like and feels like. And that are activated. I'm gonna go ahead and activate those spaces way before you guys get here, really 3 or 4 spaces. And so we can do something where people are coming in here, receiving with someone who knows how to work with the energies of Tulum, resting, having an insight about what's going to come their way as they go back, so that they can take this activation and really delayer, really contextualize, recontextualize, reframe the experience that they've had, male or female, and then also know that they're home. Tulum, this region of Mexico, my dear sister Stacy, is home. You were reborn here more than one occasion. So this place will always welcome you. I think it's really important that you know that. I've been reborn many times here, Hawaii, Bali, even Japan. So I have spaces that I've gone to that when I return, I know I'm returning home, and that really shifts things. Now home doesn't mean that there's no drama in the house. Home just means it's home. And so we can work with the space at that level. So I really look forward to seeing you. Also, I got some good family in Atlanta. And so I haven't had the opportunity, aside from the road trips going to New York, driving through I-75 and 95, to get to kind of feel the vibe. So I'm looking forward to coming out there as well. And you would be also that good family that I look forward to seeing and connecting with. And I really, again, love the MF Doom connection. I'm so happy to see you on stage sharing. I'm really excited for the work that you're doing and the light that you're sharing with people within the industry. So happy to have been, introduced to Jasmine. It was such a surprise and a gift. I cried during the massage, but not too much because I was doing the energy work. But I love that artist so much. I've really had, my own deep journeys, believe it or not, but of course you believe it, in Hawaii, solo, finally being introduced to MF Doom, Mad Billin, the music of Mad Lib, going into J Dilla, not just backpack, but these are also, they're masters, they're metaphysical masters, not just MCs, right? And really appreciating the art form, as well as appreciating, Organized Confusion and the Dungeon family, So I have a deep love and reverence for hip hop, from KRS-One down to Jamaica and all the way around. And I love all the different music in the different regions, which, this is what I'll be doing in the gatherings, is actually highlighting some of the things that this newer generation, which is beautiful, may not know and haven't looked at. Say like a group like Above the Law. I used to listen to I listen to West Coast hip hop, East Coast hip hop. The hip hop exists in those different regions as well. And then the rap. And, the b-boy. I'm aware of the elements. And also, I love like how Public Enemy came through, Queen Latifah, MC Light. Like I'm from that space where I listened to the CDs over and over again, and I was listening, but I didn't know at the time, with a different ear, the ear of a medicine man, so to say, which receives information in various levels, and yes, we can transmute it in our action, but also, wow, the love that was put into that work, despite the mastering, despite the different things that happened, despite all the ways that they were treated in those industries, what love that they have for their art. And of course, we throw in Michael Jackson, Prince, and other artists of the like, and all the artists that we don't know about who've really put in the time and are still reincarnating now to put in the time to bring forth that activation, because the artists are the real historians. We look at a painting and we know a lot about what's going on in the time. And we can listen to the music of Lauryn Hill. And now that we know a little bit more about what was going on in her story at the time, wow, right? It takes on a whole lot more. Going all the way back to the first Fuji album, okay? And then Blended on Reality, and even before then. So we're given these opportunities to time travel through gifts that people are creating and are choosing to bring through their vessel and share, and it sounds good. I have a renewed love, for these art forms, for what we bring as a people, and all people, all the different versions of what's brought as a people and how they mix together, right? So grateful for you to be here. Now I'm going to close this down. Much peace and love to you, my sister. Reach out at any time, especially if you want to build or if you just want to chop it up. I will make the time for us to just have a conversation. I know you're a busy woman as well, and there's a lot that I learned from you and how you move, and I'm always sending out a lot of love and appreciation and good vibrations to you and all the things that have unfolded by your choice to be powerfully who you are, as a mother, as a woman, as a leader in an industry that can be really tough on people, as someone navigating mercantile law. I've studied a little bit of law as well. I have the brain capacity, as I worked in compliance in my other industry, so I had to look at law and understand what's actually being said. I'm also someone who wrote and took care of, I've been divorced a couple of times, but I'm the one who did the work for the divorce, so I had to flex that, and now I'm free. Free to just to be in service and have fun and to create. So I'm working on creating things. I'm creating the nests for things to come that we talk about, just because that's my role, my purpose, the logistics side. So receive, man. Take advantage. All right. Ezria, headed to the next version of the work for the day. So much for me doing short lives. It's hard when people you love and respect come on and you're someone who wants to take the moment and the opportunity to honor them. So I honor you. I honor everyone who's been on and those who will come and listen a little bit later. Instagram, right? Long-winded as, but it's good wind. From the windy. Love you guys. Aloha. Shoots. And if there's anything that you want to share, feel free to share in the comments, especially in regards to what I'm sharing, what I'm speaking to. Rapid Reframe, seeking vitality, not just health, not a baseline level of health. Okay, you're healthy, you can function, but kick it up a notch, because we're meant to function at a very high level. Gaining understanding of these physical frames, these skinships of kinships that help us to navigate the relating aspect of relationships. Well, all these things. And the art that we are. They're all connected, respected. So let me reflect it, and then we'll talk later. Aloha. Base, base.